I figured I really wanted to start doing a few interviews as well, in addition to the other content that I'm making, which is mostly about how I go about learning languages. I do know a few people that either are interested in learning languages or are currently learning languages. So I figured I would start with the one that I had the easiest access to, which is my wife.
Hello.
So we're just gonna start right in. And my first question is, what languages do you speak or know how to speak? And how well do you think that you speak each of the languages that you speak?
Actually, I speak Portuguese. I'm Brazilian, so this is my native language. Also, I speak in English, which my level is like B1 or B2, I think. And I speak a little bit of Norwegian, but there is like not so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're more skeptical about your level in Norwegian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially in Norwegian. How has your proficiency level changed recently? Do you feel like you're learning a lot?
Yes, I can figure out some changes in Norwegian when I have some conversation with other people.
Okay, so it's easier to have conversations. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And stay in Norway. It has helped me a lot.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Do you think it's necessary to live in another country or in Norway, for instance, to learn Norwegian?
I think it's better to learn.
But
faster,
so
I think.
You think it's faster? I mean, helpful. But do you think it's necessary?
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
so you don't think you would be able to learn a language if you
outside of Norway? Yes.
Yeah, you don't think you would be able to learn Norwegian?
I would be able, but if you can travel to Norway to learn Norwegian, I think you can learn faster.
Okay. It is a very costly way to learn, but yeah. So you said that, okay, you're able to speak a bit of Norwegian. How much do you need to know in order to be able to speak a language? Because I could say, okay, I know 10 words of Spanish, but I wouldn't say that I'm able to speak Spanish, right?
You mean the basic of the language?
No. Let's say, for instance, someone asked you on the street, how many languages do you know how to speak? Or if they ask me, I wouldn't say that I know how to speak Spanish. I wouldn't count that as one of the languages that I know how to speak, because I only know about 10, 15 words. How much do you feel like you need to know in order to say that you're able to speak a language?
How much words you mean?
It doesn't necessarily have to be a specific amount of words. It's just, at what point do you feel like you're able to speak a language? How much do you need to know? Not how many words, but however you define it.
I think if you can have a good conversation, you can understand other people, and you can speak like normally. Yes, that is.
So
all.
that's okay. You know how to speak the language then.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you count that as knowing the basics, or do you feel like, okay, you're advanced then, if you're at that point where you're able to have a conversation?
I think basic, it's like, okay, I can have a conversation normally, like.
Okay, so that's the basics, yeah.
The basic and advanced. It's like, okay, I know a lot of words. That is necessary to work.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to have a job if you just knew the basics, or if you were at a basic level?
It is depends of what kind of work.
Okay, that's a fair answer. Do you feel like early on when you start learning a language, do you feel like it's necessary to learn a lot about the culture, or do you focus more on the language?
I think culture is very important
Okay.
if you study, but I think the grammatic,
Okay.
it's very important.
So you would focus more on that in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. And then culture comes later on?
Yeah.
What language learning methods have worked best for you personally?
Personally, I think Duolingo is very good.
Okay.
And if you can play some games, it will be helpful.
Do you have any suggestions for games?
Yes, The Sims 4. I think it's the best game ever, in my opinion.
Is it the best game for entertainment, or is it the best game for language learning?
Language learning, I think.
So there are better games for entertainment.
Yes, because there is a lot of options to do, like a lot of things to do in the game. So yes, and watch some movies.
Yeah.
Listen to music. Yes, and if you can do some course, it will be helpful. Yeah.
What is it about a course that makes it better than just studying on your own?
In my case, I prefer studying in a physical place, like with a teacher, and I can ask some questions, and
So it needs to be that you've left your house, you've gone to some place where you are supposed to be studying.
In my case, it's better for me, yeah.
In a normal day, what types of activities do you usually do that also helps you learn another language?
You mean daily?
Yeah.
Play a game and watch movies and watch some videos on YouTube about cultures and like trips.
Do you do that every day? Do you watch?
Yeah, every day, yeah. But in my case, I watch in Portuguese, so...
How helpful is that?
Nothing.
Okay, so it doesn't really help, but you could see that as something that would be useful.
Yeah.
If you did it. Are there any methods that you've been wanting to try out, but you haven't had the chance to use them?
Actually, I would love to do some course here in Norway. Yes.
Yeah. Is that the only thing that you can think of?
Yes, that is what I really want to do.
What's holding you back from taking a course?
Now? Because I don't have the visa.
Okay.
So I can't do like anything.
Yeah.
Now.
So you've learned both English and Norwegian. What are some of the unique advantages that you have when you're studying?
In Norwegian, I did... first of all, I live in Norway, so... Yeah.
Not everyone who's learning Norwegian actually lives in Norway.
Yeah. And I have a Norwegian husband that it's amazing. And I did some lessons on Duolingo.
Yeah.
I'm doing now. I'm using Duolingo now, but I did some lessons like 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. I
started to use Duolingo in 2 years ago.
That makes sense. Do you feel like it's easy to find stuff to use to study Norwegian? Like in English, it's really easy because you can find a lot of YouTube videos, you can find movies, you can find music. Do you feel like it's easy to find things in Norwegian as well? Or is that more difficult?
It is more difficult because when you want to watch something in Norwegian, you can find it easily. But if you want to watch some cartoons,
Yeah.
you can find in Disney Plus in Norwegian the audio and subtitles. Yeah. And I think if you want to learn Norwegian, it's not too easy to find some options.
Okay.
to learn.
So it's more limited.
Yeah, more limited.
So between us, because I mean we live together, you see me study, and I see you study. So I have my own opinion when it comes to this. Who do you think dedicates more time to studying? Who do you think studies more?
You, of course, because I think last week you spent like 3.5 hour studying Ukrainian.
That's 3.5 hours every day. It wasn't
Every
that much.
day. Yeah.
It was about 3 hours every day on average. But yeah.
And then I do like 1.5 hours, I think, per day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a week of me studying way more than I usually do, though. So that doesn't really count, but yeah. So what would you say is like your main motivation for learning languages?
In English and Norwegian, right?
Yeah.
In English, it's someday I want to be fluent in English.
Mm-hmm.
So I always liked American movies.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a perfect motivation to learn English. And about Norwegian, I want to have a conversation with people, like with Norris, and so my motivation is to be fluent in Norwegian.
Yeah, but that's because you want to be able to have conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you're able to have conversations in English, and you're not fluent in English. Do you feel like it's necessary to be fluent in Norwegian?
Yes.
Because you've set fluency as your goal in Norwegian, but you don't really need that to be able to have conversations, right?
I don't need that, but I want to.
Yeah.
Because
So there is something more there. Do you know what that is? Why exactly do you want to be fluent? Because, as you said, you don't need to. So why do you want to be fluent? Why do you think that is?
I want to be fluent because I want to have a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be a doctor here.
Yeah.
And I have to be fluent to make prescriptions, and I have to be fluent for that.
Yeah. Actually, the qualifications for
Yeah.
being able to work as a doctor, they go way beyond fluency as well.
Yeah.
So that is a good point. Do you feel like it's difficult, because as you said, you're not fluent in English, but you know how to speak it? Do you feel like it's difficult to speak English? Do you have to think a lot, or does it come like semi-naturally?
In the beginning, actually, I have some difficulties when I speak in English because I'm thinking in Portuguese and Norwegian and English, so they mix.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to think and speak in English because of that. I'm learning English and Norwegian same time, so yeah.
I mean, it's also completely normal when you start learning a new language. You start thinking a bit in that, and it kind of messes things up in the beginning. Then it passes, but that is completely normal. So it is normal that Norwegian actually makes it more difficult for you to speak English.
Yes.
So that is probably something that's going to just disappear on its own. And it is completely normal. I've heard of people that are like French, and because they've started learning another language, they've forgotten how to use French. So, yeah. Especially when both of those are languages that you've learned later, like English and Norwegian, then that is completely normal. Is there anything that you do, like, where you feel like it's more difficult using English than normally?
When I'm doing some video, like now.
Okay, yeah.
And when I have a conversation with new people, like someone that I don't know, that I never seen before.
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So I don't really have much more. I don't know how perfect this format is going to be, but at some point I would like to do more semi-podcast episodes, and we'll have to see how that works out. Not everything is going to be with another person, like in person. I do have a few friends that I will probably just do video calls with. But yeah, I would like to eventually have a setup that works for this as well. So let me know what you think about that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed a different point of view than just mine for once. So yeah, let me know if you want more like this. And there might be some more content coming up with her as well.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. So, yeah, have a good one.